This is NR2003 Predicts. We take the entry list of NASCAR's top 3 series, send them through the ratings algorithm, and see who comes out on top. Here's a few tidbits to know heading in. The driver ratings are updated race by race to reflect the performance of that driver throughout the season, as well as at that specific track in recent years. The races are at 100% length and use normal tire and fuel wear. The starting lineup will match the real-life qualifying using the provisional starting order, not the one that includes drivers heading to the back. The weather will match the real-life start time data, and commentary will match the real-life scenarios, not the standings that will be posted at the end of the video. And as always, this series is for entertainment purposes only. Using artificial intelligence and using the results of this race for gambling purposes is discouraged. Taking a look at the Saturday events, Kyle Busch takes control of the Xfinity race. He goes to victory lane over Chase Briscoe, Harrison Burton, Michael Annett, Alex Bay having a great day, along with Jeb Burton, Jeffrey Earnhardt, and Anthony Alfredo also having some solid days. Unfortunately, some problems for some heavy hitters like Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, Ross Chastain, all having some kind of mechanical problems that put them back at the field. And in the truck race, you would think that Kyle Busch would have control of it. Well, he got a pit lane penalty on the green flag pit stop, so it's Justin Haley going to victory lane, followed by Tanner Gray and Austin Hill. Still only 2 regular drivers in this series that have gone to victory lane and locked themselves into the playoffs, being Grant Enfinger and Sheldon Creed. Now we head to the Cup event. Eric Almirola, Ryan Blaney on the front row by random draw. Green flag flying here at Texas. Almirola gets the early jump. Kurt Busch gets to the inside of Ryan Blaney, followed by Kevin Harvick, and it looks like Busch is going to go for the lead going to turn 3 and 4. So Almirola unable to hold down lap number 1 to lead it. Eric Jones, top average finish among the drivers in the race today. He's working a little bit from further behind, trying to see what he can do to gain some positions, but right now it seems like he might be moving backward. He's going to have a little issue as Ty Dillon has a tire problem, and he's going to get clobbered from behind. Matt Kenseth didn't realize that the 13 had a problem. The 20 checked up, but the 42 made an evasive move to the outside and apparently hit the 13 in the process. It appears both of the drivers will stay on track, but Kenseth is going to have some problems the way he hit that race car. Clint Boyer able to get off pit lane first as they take some early pit stops. He will lead the way, but Kevin Harvick going to get right by him. Jimmy Johnson absolutely dominant when it comes to this racetrack among the other drivers. 7 victories here, but unfortunately for him, it's been a long time since he's gone to victory lane. One of his last victories came at this racetrack in 2017. Kyle Busch trying to work his way up the grid, 12 top 5s at this racetrack, and he got a little bit of redemption winning the truck race after being disqualified in the Xfinity race that he had been on top, but trying to see what he can do to get a win on Sunday. And more problems with the 42. This time it's the 77. That's J.J. Yaley that the 42 just got into. Kenseth having all sorts of problems with the traffic, and in this case it looks like the 42 was faster than the 77, but unfortunately still got into him, turned him around, and brings out another caution. Second one of the day. Joey Logano leading the way. Kevin Harvick going to see what he can do to get back to the lead, and it looks like he's going to have a move down into turn 1. 22 top 10s at this racetrack, and by the way, all 3 of his wins at this track have come in pretty recent years, so he is definitely the driver that's hot here. That's not to say anything about the temperature that these drivers are having to endure. Brad Keselowski trying to work his way up some traffic. Benedetto has some damage. Looks like that came from pit lane. The 2 car has led a lot of laps here, but he's still looking for his first victory, and there's problems for the pole sitter. Eric Almirola up in smoke through turn 2, going down the backstretch really slowly, and that's going to be the end of his day. Unfortunate for the pole sitter, looking for something good to go his way after he had a long streak of top 5s, but not going to happen today. Meanwhile, his teammate Kevin Harvick has checked out on the rest of the field. He's going to cross the start-finish line. He ended stage 1. Harvick out and on top. Logano, Hamlin, Truex Jr., and Blaney the top 5 in this stage. How about some good runs by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Ty Dillon, who had that problem earlier on. Looks like he got the fresh tires on, and he's able to earn a stage point. We head back to green, and it's going to be Harvick followed by Logano and Hamlin. We'll see who's able to challenge the 4 car, and it's not going to be the 2 cars. He's headed to the pit lane. Looks like he has a tire issue, and there's another problem. Clint Boyer going through the grass. He might have had a tire problem as well, and he is going to get it down the pit lane and get that fixed, although it's going to cost him a little time because he did not hit the pit lane entry, but bizarre number of problems right at the same time. Cole Custer, the big story of the week, got the victory at Kentucky. Gets him into the playoffs. Unfortunately for him, though, today's run is kind of similar to what he's been doing throughout the season, and it has not been great. However, he can fall back on that victory. Now he just has to look for some momentum. Speaking of momentum, how about Kurt Busch coming up the inside of Kevin Harvick trying to look for that lead? That's going to be a big challenge going throughout this race. We see Austin Dillon catching up to William Byron. Dillon trying to get above the cut line for the playoffs while Byron's trying to hold on to it. They both run right around the 10th place mark. Meanwhile, Alex Bowman, he runs in a pretty solid position, 6th place. A good run for the Hendrick team. His top 10s have been sporadic throughout the season after getting that victory at Fontana, so trying to see what he can do to knock down some better finishes in the back half of the season. Kevin Harvick going to be the first one to come down the pit lane. Kurt Busch stays out, but he'll come down a short time later. Looks like it's going to be a lot of 4 tires to get to the end of this stage, and he'll come down to pit again. But there's going to be a problem coming off pit lane. Eric Jones blends up near in front of Christopher Bell. That's going to send them both around in turn 3. And the 95 is going to get clobbered by the 27 car. And that's going to put an end to Golding's day. And looks like for Bell, that might end his day as well. And there's a problem for Alex Bowman. We just talked about him having a top 10 run, and it looks like he has a problem mechanically. That's going to send him out of the race. And coming to the restart, Kurt Busch from the lead. He has a tire issue. And the entire field blowing right by him. He hangs on that high side. They stay green for now. Oh, what a disaster. From the lead, Kurt Busch can't get up to speed. The tire goes down, and he's going to lose several laps trying to get it back to pit lane. Meanwhile, for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., this is a good run going for him. He's top 5 right now. He's been solid at some intermediate tracks this season, and he's having another one of those surprise days. Kevin Harvick going to hit stage 2 for the victory there. Truex Jr., Hamlin, Logano, and Stenhouse get the top 5. William Byron, Jimmy Johnson find their way into the top 10 along with Kyle Busch. He looked strong earlier on, but that's his first stage point of the day. Harvick going to lead the way on the final stage. He gets a big jump over Truex Jr., trying to hold down that second position. He's going to lose it, though, to his teammate Denny Hamlin. And go figure, the top 2 drivers this season, on win count, pretty much anything you can think of, they are up at the front, and they are trying to challenge each other, and it looks like it's going to happen here. Going down into turn 1 and 2, Hamlin gets to the inside of the 4 car. He's going to take over the lead. So it's once again going to be a Harvick and Hamlin battle. They cannot get away from each other. And looks like Ryan Blaney's going to insert himself into the conversation. He's trying to use that outside line as Benedetto's kind of holding up Harvick a little bit. It looks like they got him clear and they're trying to stay away from each other, although here comes Hamlin down for a pit stop, and Ryan Blaney will follow. Kevin Harvick will not. He'll stay out for an extra lap. And here he is coming down for his service, which should be the last one of the day. I believe they split it up enough, and Ryan Blaney gets out in front of both of them. That's a big move for the 12th car, although it looks like Harvick's going to pressure him coming out of turn 4, and he's going to open up that door, and Harvick right back to the front, using that experience to power by. Obviously, Blaney's a bit of a veteran himself, but still very young, while Harvick is very tenured and using that experience to his advantage. Meanwhile, Kurt Busch, what a heartbreak. What could have been for a battle here at the front as Kevin Harvick goes by, but Busch several laps down due to that tire issue. And Logano has an issue, and it happens right in front of the race leader, Harvick, as Ryan Newman checks up. But the 22 has gone slow from the top 5, and he is headed to pit lane. And it might be another tire issue. Seems like there's a lot of tire problems today. Meanwhile, Martin Truex Jr., he restarted just behind Kevin Harvick when we started this stage, and he's about to go a lap down as Harvick has just taken absolute control of this event, and we're going to see the white flag here. Winner of the last 3 fall events in a row, hasn't finished outside of the top 10 since the spring event in 2014 when he had an engine problem. Harvick is just absolutely dominant at this racetrack, and that has been the story of his season. Absolute dominance, getting several victories. Darlington, Atlanta, Pocono, Indianapolis, plus runner-up finishes at Phoenix and the other Pocono event that Hamlin won. Well, now it's going to be 5 wins on the season. Coming to the checkered flag, Kevin Harvick going to win here at Texas. Harvick pulling out the smoke show in the Lone Star State. He will go to victory lane. Ryan Blaney able to steal away second place from Denny Hamlin, who will come up in third spot. Martin Truex Jr., Matt Benedetto rounding out the top 5. Kyle Busch having a solid day today. Obviously, he wants to go for victories, and that has not been his strong suit this season. While Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets up to 7th place, a very respectable run, along with Chris Buescher, who gets up to 9th. Tyler Reddick, the top running rookie, up there in 11th spot. Hendrick having some okay days. They're in 12th and 13th, with Chase Elliott up in the top 10. Unfortunately for Alex Bowman, the mechanical problem running really well earlier on. Brad Keselowski a little bit under the 8 ball as he had that issue that took him to pit lane in stage 2. Cole Custer, last week's winner, comes in 22nd. Kurt Busch, 6 laps down. Unfortunate for him as he had that tire issue, had to really limp it around. And Matt Kenseth, his teammate, with the problems throughout the race in 28th. And we see the drivers that have dropped out as a result of incidents. Christopher Bell and Gray Golding tangling in an accident. Alex Bowman and Eric Almirola with mechanical issues. That is it for NR 2003 Predicts. We hope you enjoy the race, and we will see you all next time.